Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Hot mics.
Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate, coming to you live from the snowy tundra of Houston, Texas. In fact, our studio is so far south, we are south of I-10. I can stand up here in the studio. I can see out of the studio windows, through my office windows, and see I-10. So we are pretty far south, and it has snowed here in Houston. And in the evening, so what happened last night, we had two events. We had our base camp meeting, which is our meeting for folks that are taking their real estate business to the next level. We had that meeting, and then we were giving our free Intro to Income and Wealth workshop here at the office as well. I was at the Christmas musical, which my oldest son was in, at the elementary school. So we left the house. It was a little chilly, and by chilly here, we mean 40. So the rest of you folks in the throughout the country, just bear with me for a minute when I explain the frozen tundra that is Houston, Texas right now. So we left the house, and normally if it were not raining, it was raining yesterday, and it was 40 degrees, we would have just walked to the school. I mean, it's might be a quarter mile away. So go to school. Cameron does his thing. He was an elf in the musical, which was great. Had a part on stage in front of the elementary school. So we go back to the house, and I told my wife, I said, it might snow. She's like, there's no way. I said, well, we're getting the right amount of precipitation. It's getting pretty chilly. And we don't watch TV anymore. I mean, we don't watch the news. It's either the Texans or the Astros, or it's stuff we're watching on YouTube. That's really all we watch these days. So occasionally Netflix and that sort of thing. So we don't really watch the news. So sure enough, I'm checking my phone, and I've got this new Note. Note 8, I guess is what it is. And I've got a weather app at the top. And, of course, in Houston, it's wintertime. And the last couple of days, it's had these little cloud pictures. And then it had this funny little star underneath it instead of a water drop. And I said, Sarah, I think it's actually going to snow. I think it's going to snow. So, sure enough, sometime in the evening, we were checking Facebook. We had Facebook feed open, and a bunch of our buddies on the north side of town. Now, you got to remember Houston. For those of you who are out of town, Houston is 100 miles by 100 miles. It's 10,000 square miles. So just because your friend on Facebook posts that it's snowing in their neighborhood doesn't mean it's going to snow in yours, because Houston's big. I mean, it's 100 miles long. And if you really include Galveston to north of Conroe, it's about 120, 130 miles. So I'm seeing friends of mine on the north side of town starting to snow. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, it won't come down this far south. We're in Sugar Land, which is the southeast or southwest corner of Houston. So I walk outside, still kind of rainy, not really getting that much. I don't even see any snow. I'm using a flashlight, looking. I mean, we're on snow watch at this point. We got the fire going in the house, which, by the way, we have a fire just about every day. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so wake up this morning, and Sarah looks out the window to her bedroom, and oh my gosh, it snowed. There's snow all over the palm trees. Now, our backyard is a little, how can I say this? It's a little oasis back there. We got a lot of palm trees. We got the pool and the jacuzzi, and we got this fire pit area and all this stuff. It's really a sweet, sweet little backyard. In fact, the irony in all this is, as this snow is coming down and accumulating in the yard and on the house, today is the day we get our new pool heater installed. So that's it. It's perfect timing. And I told Sarah, I was like, if we would have gotten that heater sooner, we'd have some great Instagram pics of the jacuzzi going, and then putting all that steam up in the air. So In any case, so it's snowing here in Houston, Texas. We got in a little snowball fight in the front yard before the kids left for school. They rode their bikes to school. Mom did not drop them off. It's like, look, get on your bike. It's only 38 degrees out here. You will live. There are humans that live in 38 degree temperature. But I'll tell you the coolest thing that happened this morning. So the house we live in, we did a big rehab before we moved in. And I should have taken a picture of all the people that were taking pictures of our house. It was really interesting. Just neighbors coming out. We have a gray and white theme on the house, which is what we use on a lot of our flip properties. And it was neat to see all the neighbors coming out and taking pictures of the house because it looked really cool with all the snow on it. So one of the things I've forgotten about snow is that when it snows, obviously it's the color white, and it makes everything look so much more alive with the dreary winter sky. So our neighborhood is all tree lined. We've got trees everywhere. It's like living in a rainforest. And it was amazing to see the snow on everything because it makes it just so much brighter. So those of you who got snow last night, you are the lucky few. It's great. It will not stick. Hopefully, maybe it'll snow again, but I kind of doubt it from here on out. What a heck of a lot of fun. So today, I want to talk about, aside from snow, I want to talk about a surefire way to poverty for most Americans. The absolute easiest way to ensure poverty in America. Does anybody out there know how to get on the fast track to poverty? And some people say, well, it's a job. Well, it's too much debt. It's, keeping up with the Joneses and buying the houses and the cars and all the nonsense. That's not really true. I'll tell you, the fast track to poverty is retirement. The fast track to poverty is retirement for most Americans. If you look at any of the statistics as it relates to retirement, the vast majority of Americans' retirement planning is praying that they die before they run out of money. The vast majority of Americans, their prayer at night as they get older is, I hope I die before I run out of money in retirement. That's most people's retirement planning. Here's the problem. If you want to live on $5,000 a month, let's just call that a baseline, just to survive, $5,000 a month. You need to save nearly $2 million before you retire. $2 million. Most Americans won't even make enough to retire, to be able to save to retire with $2 million. That's for $5,000 a month. You need $2 million. $2 million bucks. Most Americans I know, if they've got anything, maybe $100,000, $200,000. But you need $2 million to be able to enjoy $5,000 a month in retirement. We're doing a deal right now, putting it in my wife's portfolio. I just got the rehab estimate back. We're actually going out to the house today. Probably going to do a Facebook Live from the house today. Show you guys what a flooded house looks like. And we're going to tune up the rehab estimate. But I'll tell you this house we're buying is going to cash flow $500 a month with a mortgage for the next 30 years. $500 a month for the next 30 years. Well, Jason, what happens after 30 years? Simple, it's paid off. And then it will cash flow $1,000 a month.
2 minutes. 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 2
If you've got to retire 30 years from now, let's say you're in your 30s, just buy 10 of those. Cash flow is $500 a month. Buy 10, that's $5,000 a month in cash flow. Here's the crazy thing. You don't need $2 million to buy 10 rental properties. You don't. In fact, this house, if I wanted to, we'd have no money out of pocket. Let's say worst case scenario, it costs you $5,000 and the bank lends you everything else and you need 10 of those. You would have to deploy $50,000 in cash to make $5,000 a month. Who wouldn't do that deal? Your alternative is to pray that you save $2 million and your Bitcoin investments work out and the market doesn't crash 2 years before you retire. A lot of people learned that. A lot of people enjoyed that experience in 2008. There were a lot of people in 2008 that had $2 or $3 million in 2007 that were planning on retiring in 2008 and couldn't, and had to work another 6-7 years. I can go back and look and see how long it took for the S&P to recover, but they had to work another 6 or 7 years just because of market timing. We get back from the break, we're going to talk about how to be poor in retirement. It's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Lights off.
Tracy, what time will I be live at the house? We are meeting there at 2:30 today.
If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal.
2:30
like
Central.
That. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or
Or
binders.
should I say Trace? I don't know
Agency
why I
for
said
that is
Tracy.
Benchmark
Did I say
Insurance
Trace? It should be
Tech.
Trace.
The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and
Hey,
what
Bear.
for you.
Hey,
Are you a
Rhett, did it
rehabber, wholesaler,
snow in Louisiana
buy
where
and
you're at?
hold broker? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure
Oh, that's
30,000
cool, Michael.
properties.
Hey, Michael, are you guys
Contact
on the north
Benchmark
side of
about our
town?
exclusive investor
Y'all are in
package.
Cypress, I think.
Call
So,
us
yeah,
and
it
let
would
us
make
show
sense
you
if y'all
what
got
we
snow
can do
before
for
we
you
did.
At 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property?
I sure
Then
am.
call Fast Track Remodeling at 832
Fast Track Remodeling is going to do that house.
or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
No kidding.
Again,
It's
that's
snowing right now?
832-742-9992,
That's cool.
or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing
One
are
minute.
still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
This is Business 1110.
Call Jason at 713-785-1817 and look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Was just checking the Secretary of State's website during the break. One of my LLCs somehow fell into an inactive status, which is not true because we write Texas franchise taxes for that one all the time. So in any case, looks like we got all that fixed and get our account all up to date so I can go out there and open up some new bank accounts for something we're working on. So just saw a note here on Facebook. Hey, good morning, JB. I saw a post today regarding the 5 keys to money mastery. Interesting they saw that Facebook post. That is actually one of our the things that we teach in our real estate financial our financial education business, 5 keys to money mastery, which is manage your money by saving your money, protect your money, and grow your money. And they said, my take is that single-family real estate, once mastered, is an investment which encompasses all 5 keys. That is correct. They said, would you agree? I said, that is absolutely correct. However, you still got to manage your family budget. I'll tell you right now, Sarah and I are looking at budget 2018. And we always like to tighten that belt up. I don't care how much money you make. The most wealthy people play good offense and good defense. Defense wins championships, right? That's what you hear in the NFL all the time. Defense wins championships. What is defense in building wealth and income? Defense is making sure there's not a lot of money blowing out the back door. You know, Sarah and I are looking at some numbers right now. We think there's an opportunity with 2 things. If we make 2 changes at home, they're going to save us $600 a month. Now, most of you folks out there are like, well, what's the big deal? You got all these companies, you're doing all this business. What's the big deal if you save $600 a month? Because $7,200, you know what I can do with $7,200? That's 600 times 12. You know what I can do with $7,200? We started a 100 house buying a year company with $40,000. Think about that for a minute. We took $40,000. Tom and I put $20,000 each into a joint checking account and built a 100 house buying a year company. What I can do with $7,200 that most Americans can't. What our students in Right Path can do with $7,200 that most Americans can't. $7,200 isn't $7,200. $7,200 is hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've had a buddy of mine ask me a couple times, hey, man, when you get in a Lambo and a huge house? When you get in your Lamborghini, man? When you get in a Ferrari? You know what a $100,000 car cost me? It cost me millions in opportunity cost. I went to lunch yesterday with a good friend of mine. Just a great, great guy. He's been in this business for 20 years. And we were sharing stories, and he's got way more than I do, about being broke real estate investors. If you're a real estate investor, has a bunch of cash in the bank, you're not doing this right. your money ought to be out there working. You don't make any money, have it sitting in a bank account somewhere. Nobody makes money with a lot of money in a checking account. It was funny. He was telling me about the first couple of years he was in business, and they were looking at how much they were making. What was net to them and the partners at the end of the year. And they're like, man, we don't have any money. It's like a couple $1,000 a month. That's really what they're making, right? I mean, it's like $5,000-$6,000 a month. But then they went over and looked at the balance sheet. Oh, we've added $2 to $3 million in real estate to our portfolio. It's like these guys that brag on Facebook when they get these checks. It's like, I don't want a check. I want a real asset. I don't know from an accounting standpoint, cash is an asset, but you know how I define an asset? Something that makes me money. And you know what makes me money? Buying more houses. Having a 401k with $10 million in cash or, 100 Bitcoins, whatever the price of Bitcoin is today, is really not attractive to me. Do you know why it's not attractive? Because cash is worthless. Currency is worthless. That's why all these Americans are going broke when they go into retirement. They don't really own any assets. They've got the house they live in and a depleting balance in their 401k. They're eating. It's kind of like that whole, you hear that analogy all the time. You want to, the goose that lays the golden egg. They're just sitting there eating the goose. They're killing it. Now, when you're not retired, most Americans' goose is their W-2 job. Here's the other problem with that. If you're not playing good defense, to go back to the 5 keys of money mastery, if you're not playing good defense, managing your finances, managing your credit profile, managing your expenses every month. I'm not saying live like a pauper. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying live in in an apartment so you can pay cash for a house. There's this company out there that's teaching this. It's like Dave Ramsey on steroids, right? I mean, it's like, it's so wild. It's pay cash for everything, have absolutely no debt, and you live just this miserable existence. I'm not saying don't do those things. Here's one thing I am saying. I see this a lot. I see people pay for their kids' college at the expense of their retirement, which is insane. Just from a time value of money, your kids have a lifetime to pay off their college. You as a parent only have a few short decades to get your house in order so you can retire. Here's another caveat a lot of people miss. Most Americans stop working because they can no longer work. What does that mean? That means they're too sick to work. In fact, I've got an article here. A friend of mine sent it over to me from Bloomberg. Let me go to the top here. Americans are retiring later, dying sooner, and sicker in between. Meaning our lives are, as we age, are deteriorating. Now, I have a theory on this. I'm going to let this theory out. It's going to make me enormously unpopular. But I'll tell you, I've already seen some studies about this. If you look at prior to Americans smoking, like all the smoking cessation, the big tobacco lawsuits, I believe, and we will see some studies that come out over the next decade about this, I believe that Americans that smoked actually had a better life. Now, they didn't live as long, but they actually had a better life than Americans do today because the vast majority of Americans now are, it's not just overweight, it's obese. I think obesity is worse than smoking. People are living longer in part because Healthcare technology allows people to live longer. But when I look at these retirement stats, most people are not able to function in a healthy manner. Can't go out and walk around the block on 900 different meds. And what does that have to do with retirement? It's simple. Not all of you listening to this radio show right now will be able to work until you're 90. You're just not. You need to start planning for retirement today. And I'll tell you, if your retirement plan is to save and then retire and pray that you die before you run out of money, that's not going to work. Why don't you instead come out to the Right Path Weekend Retreat?
2 minutes.
In fact, Weekend Retreat is a week from today. If you want to learn how to retire and not eat dog food, you need to shoot us an email. Send us an email, support at Right Path Real Estate. If you do that by today at 5, we'll send you a special code to go to our weekend retreat. But here's what I'll tell you. If you can't get this stuff figured out, if you think, oh, I'm just going to I'm going to save my way to retirement, it's not going to happen. Over the next couple of years, like a year and a half, 2 years, you can buy 10 rental properties that cash flow you $500 a month. And if your bills are $5,000 a month, you're set. Let's say you want to retire at $10,000 a month. Buy 20 rental properties.
1 minute.
Over the course of 5 years, you could have 20 rental properties cash flowing you $10,000 a month. 20 rentals, $10,000 a month. And all you have to do is buy 4 houses a year. It's not that hard. And I'll tell you, you join Right Path, we've got the vendors that'll rehab the houses. We've got the money that they'll lend on those houses. We've got the property management company. I mean, it's all done for you over here. You just got to show up. We get back from the break, we're going to talk more about retirement. It's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Mic's off.
Do you have cracks in your
David, are you actually buying 100 a year, or are you just putting 100 under contract? We are buying 100 a year.
Our expansive soils in the Houston area. It's probably not a question of if you have moved.
Our closing ratio for houses we put under contract to houses we close is 100%, provided we get free and clear title. So, in some cases, when we put a house under contract and it has like $1 million IRS lien, we're not able to close that. There's just not anything we can do about it. That happens a couple of times a year. Or for some reason we can't get clear title. So I'll tell you, if we can't clear title on a property, the only entity that can is the county when they foreclose for past due taxes, and they wipe all of the potential lien holders out.
As a real estate investor,
So,
you rely on your property inspector to
yeah, we close 100. Actually, close over 100.
and your potential return
We're
on
close to
investment
200
from an
this year.
investor's point of view.
So,
Principal
buy a
Inspections
lot of
was
houses.
founded by investor Jeremy Humphrey to do just that. Principal Inspections works from the investor's point of view.
If you guys come to the weekend retreat, you'll see it. I try as hard as I can for it not to happen, but inevitably it does. We close most of our houses on Friday, and a lot of times I have to take a break randomly on Friday at the weekend retreat so I can sign closing papers on 2 or 3 houses. It happens every weekend retreat. And almost every weekend retreat, Tom will leave for a couple of hours in the middle of the weekend retreat, and I'll get up there and just start talking and teaching on something, and he's out buying a house. It happens all the time. That's one of the challenges we have in doing our weekend retreat in different places, because we're running a very active real estate business that we're involved in from at the partner level.
started a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth.
Yeah,
or more
thanks, Michael.
importantly, what to do to
Hey, Michael, I got
maximize
your
your
email. I
investment.
haven't read it yet, but it's in my queue to
Exactly
take a
why
look
we
at this
started
morning.
NextGen Appraisals. NextGen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911.
In fact, if you guys want, I can pull up. I still have it from Wednesday night. I'm going to pull up the deal analyzer for the deal we're doing for Sarah.
There's a better place to invest. The experts
$53,000 purchase price.
One of the best investments you can
Right
make.
now, we have a
Find out
rent-ready
how
repair,
JD Fund
$50,000.
Services
I think
offers
that's too
9%
high.
preferred return
Should be
on
about
the
40 grand. We're going to go out there and get it all
Call
figured
us
out today.
281-915-0906
Rent
or visit
is
our website,
$1,550 a month.
jdfundservices.com. That's 281-915-0906. This
$1,550
investment
a
is
month.
offered to accredited investors.
Did you know that there are over 24
1 minute.
trillion
That gives us
in
a
retirement
DSCR of
accounts in the US?
1.77.
Imagine if you could use someone's IRA
We capture
to fund all of your
$57,000 in
deals.
equity.
Well,
It cash flows
Quest
400.
IRA
I
is
shouldn't say
based
cash
locally here in
flow.
Houston,
It
Texas.
profits
At Quest IRA,
$406 a
we offer
month.
retirement accounts
That's an
that can be
important
used to
distinction.
invest in real estate,
A lot of people just
promissory
take their
notes,
hard
private
cost
entities,
minus their
and much
lease
more.
and call
Many
that
of our
cash flow and
clients
assume
loan
that's
money
profit.
from
That's
their
not
IRAs
true.
to fund real
We
estate
include
deals
management
all over the
fees,
country. We don't
vacancy
sell
rates,
any
make
investments or
readies,
give advice.
all
However,
that
we
stuff,
do
all
hold
those
free
soft
networking
costs
events,
in the
weekly
deal.
educational classes, and free consultations
We don't want to
with an
manage it.
IRA
We're going to have
specialist.
the
For
guy I
more
was meeting with
information,
yesterday.
visit our
He owns a
website at
property management company, so he'll be doing our
questira.com
property management
or
for
call
us.
us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs to tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.
It should be,
Call
Michael.
Quest IRA
Let me send a quick
at
note.
1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website,
Hey, Michael, you know what I'll do?
questira.com.
I'm going
This
to
is
email
Business
everybody in base
1110.
camp.
Call Jason
Oh,
at
we're going back live.
713-785-1817 and look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Hey, I got a note. Is the new deal analyzer on Basecamp yet? If it's not, I'll email it out to everybody today. And I'll email you the one that's not locked. So if you guys want to play with the new deal analyzer, you can do that to your heart's content. But I'll tell you, for those non-Excel users, it's not locked. So only change the things in the yellow cells. So during the break, I was looking at a deal. This is the deal we're doing for my wife. Buying the house for $53,000, doing $50,000 in repairs. We're going out today at 2:30 to look at the house and take a look at the scope of work because I think $50,000 for the rehab's a bit much. It should be about $40,000. The house is worth $160,000 after the storm. We think it was worth $185,000 before the storm. We think it's worth $160,000 after the storm. So we're all in for $103,000. Let's call it $110,000. Just for grins. $110,000 on a $160,000 house that rents for $1,550 a month. So let me talk about real quickly here on rental properties. I get this question a lot. Hey, Jason, what is a house cash flow? And what a lot of real estate education companies do is they talk about cash flow, but they don't talk about profit. And they make if you're not paying attention, this is the important piece about why you should be able to see the seams on the fastball. And that is, people assume cash flow and profit are the same thing, and that's not true. Now, experienced real estate investors that watch this show, and I'll tell you what, I've got a big thank you for all the guys that are really experienced real estate investors that listen to the show. I run into guys all the time and say, hey, man, I do 40 houses a year, I do 50 houses a year, I do all this, and I listen to your show all the time. And I think that's really cool. It means we're giving out a lot of really valuable information, not only for new investors, but for experienced investors. So I really appreciate that for those of y'all who are longtime listeners. So let me go back to this point. Cash flow is not profit. And a lot of real estate education companies will teach cash flow as profit. Now, they'll never come out and say it like, oh, this is your profit, because that's not true. They'll call it cash flow, and then new investors and their clients will assume, oh, that's profit. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you're doing your calculations, when you're doing your calculation to figure out what a property profits as a rental, you've got to take out management fee, you've got to take out make-ready costs, You've got to take out vacancy. We do all of that when we do our calculation. So when somebody comes to me and says, oh, Jason, this is a really great deal, man. It's a great deal. No money out of pocket, and it cash flows you $250 a month. Well, is that cash flow or is that profit? You said cash flow, but what does that mean to you? Oh, that's cash flow. I mean, profit. I mean, what's the difference, man? They're the same thing. No, they're not. Did you include vacancy, make ready? Did you include a management fee? Did you include all those costs? Well, no, it cash flows this. Right. That's what it cash flows if you're not accruing for those future expenses. And then, of course, they look at me, typically as a wholesaler. They look at me and they go, accruing? I'm not on a row team. I'm not a rower. I'm like, this isn't a crew like a row. This is a crew. This is a different. This is accruing, meaning we're saving today for expected future expenses. That's what that means. That's what we're accruing those expenses to deploy that in the future, which is the difference between cash flow and profit. Has nothing to do with a rowing team, a crew. This is a crew. So if we look at this deal here that I'm looking at my wife is going to do, it cash flows $406 a month. Here's what's changing in single-family real estate in 2018. It's happened a little bit in 2017, but the big change is happening this next year. And that is lenders are going to move away from after repaired value. After repaired value is going the way of the dinosaur. What is after repaired value? It's the value of the house when it's all fixed up. You send an appraiser out there, they close their eyes, throw a dart at the board, and they come up with a number. I'm just kidding. It's more, I know, it was a little appraiser joke. All the appraisers in the audience, don't call me all angry, but that's what everybody thinks an appraiser does. We know that's not true. Michelle's on the show, and she explains how the appraisal works. But what is going to change is you're going to see debt service coverage ratio come into play. They have already been using DSCR in single-family real estate portfolios. You're now going to see it on single-family in a single house. Your DSCR must be greater than 1.25%. What does that mean? It really means that if I put a loan on this property, there needs to be a 25% net margin. In other words, your profit margin must be 25%. Oh, by the way, I want everybody to remember this. Who's been preaching for 5 years now about having at least a 20% margin? Oh, that'd be us. Oh, that would be us. Why do you think the lending industry says you need to have a DSCR of 1.25%? Simple. Because they want to make sure you're able to cover the debt and any other expenses. By the way, how they determine that debt service coverage ratio is by including not only the cash flow, but the actual profit, meaning make ready, management costs, and vacancies. So there are a lot of people out here teaching real estate, running around saying, oh my gosh, this is a great deal because it cash flows you $300 a month. It doesn't unless you include those other numbers. A lender who is a professional is going to look at that deal and go, that doesn't cash flow $300 a month. Cash flows $150. And we're not going to lend on that. Get out of my office. But that's the difference between running this like a professional, building a real portfolio, and pretending like you're in real estate. That's the difference. When people ask me all the time, hey, Jason, what's the difference between your company, Right Path Real Estate, and everybody else out there? And I give them one explanation like this, and they look at me and go, I've never heard that before. Really? That's how it works? Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Well, how do you know that's how it works? Because we've done 400 of these things, 400 plus. We do 100 houses a year. That is exactly how this thing works. I know because 100 of these come across my desk every year. you want to work with a company that's doing this every day. The reason we call ourselves Right Path Real Estate is because when you are climbing the mountain, and the summit of your mountain can be building wealth to leave as a legacy for your family, the summit of your mountain can be retirement. Here's what I'll tell you. You're going to need a guide that takes you up that mountain. You can't do it yourself. It's impossible. You want to climb Everest by yourself? Good luck. You want to figure out retirement by yourself? I hope you don't waste 30 years doing that, because I'll tell you what, most Americans do. That's why they retire in poverty, if they retire at all. So here's what I'll tell you, folks. You've got to get on the right path. And the first step in doing that is coming to one of our events. We've got an event next Thursday, a free event. It's our intro to Pathway to Income and Wealth. If you want to just skip that altogether and go right into our weekend retreat next Friday, starts next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you spend 3 days with Tom and I, and we break all this stuff down, how it all works. If you want a special discount for the weekend retreat today only, send an email over to Veronica. She can be reached at support@rightpathrealestate.com. That's support, SUPPORT, at rightpathrealestate.com. You can contact her there, and we get you a little discount code for today only. But here's what I'll tell you. If you haven't gotten this figured out, it can be detrimental. Now, I'm not one of these guys that says, hey, it's never too late. Here's what I will tell you.
2 minutes.
You can miss enormous opportunities by waiting. Let's say you're my age. You're in your 30s. I'm 39. And you got 20 years until you want to retire. What if you bought 4 houses a year for 20 years? You'd end up with 80 rental properties. What's 80 times $500 a month? Why don't you do that math? What's 80 houses times $500 a month? And buying 4 houses a year isn't exactly a full-time job. We had one of our base camp students that just went hog wild with our marketing and bought 4 in a week. I mean, it's buying single family houses and holding on to these little assets. And then letting your tenant pay these things off over time. I'll tell you what's even cooler. This is one of my favorite plans. Spend 2 years working real hard.
1 minute.
Instead of going to grad school at night, spend your time and really focus and buy 20 rental properties. And then put those houses on 15-year notes. And then in about 6 to 7 years, sell half the portfolio and use the proceeds from that sale to pay off the other half of the portfolio. In fact, if you want, I can work the numbers up based off this deal right here. I can tell you how long we can run in this deal analyzer. I can run an amortization schedule with an early payoff, and we'll see how long it takes to actually pay the property off. We get back from the break, I'll share with you some more numbers. You don't have to be poor in retirement, folks. Just join Right Path Real Estate. It's Jason Bible. We'll be back after the break.
Mike's off.
Let's see here. So that's $400 a month in cash flow. Let's turn that into a 15-year mortgage.
Single-family real estate is one of the best investments.
Drops you down to $149 a month in profit. I'm going to rename that cell to profit because that's really what that is.
281-915-0906 or visit our website.
That is a $149 a month. That's a DSCR of 1.23, so you probably have to put some more cash in the deal to get it to work.
Investors, if
but it'll be paid off in 15 years.
IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly
assuming a
classes,
7% appreciation,
and the ability to tap into trillions of dollars.
You can sell this house and make $147,000.
as we
Let me look at the
simulcast
mortgage
all of our
calculator here. At
educational
month
classes
6,
every Tuesday
month 60,
morning and evening.
you
For
owe
more information, call us at
$78,000.
1-855-FUN-IRA.
So with this deal, I want
Visit
everybody to
our
follow the
website
numbers
at
on this deal.
questira.com.
With this
Selecting a foundation
deal,
company and their
let me make sure
product
that's
for
right.
repair is a lot like a game of
Look at
chance.
one number here.
You simply don't know what you're going to get. The foundation repair industry as a whole doesn't carry a license,
is
nor is it
my,
regulated. However, Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files to give you the best foundation analysis in today's market. Remember to check before ever repair. Call 346-702-3825, or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market.
Yes.
Give Next Gen
Here
a
it is.
call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Okay.
Hi, Clint Coons here, attorney and avid real estate investor. You know the greatest mistake real estate investors make is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors in all 50 states. In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least
Thanks,
amount of
John. I
taxes
appreciate
available under the
you
law.
sharing that
We
with
have
us.
150 employees that range from lawyers to CPAs to estate planners and much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at AndersonAdvisors.com or call for a free
Oh, will
risk
Pathfinder
reduction
get the deal
analysis and
analyzer?
financial
Absolutely,
blueprint
Ginger.
at 800
Is that? Can y'all do me a favor?
706-4741.
Can y'all log into Basecamp and see if it's there? It should be in the document section.
Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention
If it's not there,
Real Estate.
we'll see if we can shoot it out as an email. Should be there on the site. I know we've been
As a
doing a
real
lot of
estate
changes on the
investor, you
back end of the
rely on
site.
your property
1 minute.
inspector to determine the current condition of the home and your potential return on investment. Principal Inspections was founded by investor Jeremy Humphrey to do just that. Working from the investor's point of view, Principal Inspections will give you
That house
turnkey
needs a little
inspections
work.
that are high quality, affordable, and focused on information pertinent to investors.
I'm getting deals from
while
this
not
wholesaler.
clouding your report with
Mike,
unnecessary
there's no way
details.
that house is going to sell
Founder
at that
Jeremy
price.
Humphrey
Doesn't even
comes
make
from
sense.
a family of real estate investors. He started Principal Inspections for investors because as an investor himself, he experienced the need for fast, quality inspections with information directly pertaining to property condition and potential resale value. Principal Inspections will save you time and money. Call Principal Inspections, 832-684-5516. That's 832-684-5516.
I don't know. I don't know if his
Or
rehab
go
number
online
works.
to
I might buy it.
principalinspections.com.
Oh, it's
That's
big. I don't like a house that big.
principalinspections.com. License number 21264.
This is Business 1110.
Call Jason at 713-785-1817 and look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/rightpathrealestate.
Hot mic.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Let me share this strategy with you guys. Looking at a deal right now my wife is going to do. We're buying it for 53, needs 50 in rehab. There's a strategy that some clients are using in our group, and this strategy is buying the house, put it on a 15-year mortgage, and then when the equity in the portfolio reaches a certain point, they're going to sell some houses to pay off the mortgage on the other houses. In other words, they own the houses free and clear. I am not one of these guys that introduces you to crazy terms like dead equity. Like I heard this at a seminar one time. I'm like, what does that even mean? Oh, it's the equity you have in a house less the difference of what you could get a loan for. I'm like, wait a second. So why do you have to re-leverage these things every time? Well, so you can take more money out and buy more houses. Why do I need to do that? If I got a large enough portfolio, it ought to be able to self-fund and be able to buy me more houses. That was my first hint that something was wrong with their model. So here's a deal we're looking at. I'm going to put it on a 15-year mortgage. So put it on a 15-year mortgage. Our payment on a $103,000 loan goes from $585 to $842. That drops our monthly profit, not just cash flow. If it were cash flow, it'd be a lot higher. It'd be about $250 higher. Not just cash flow, but profit
2 minutes.
is $150 a month. But we're making a 15-year payment. We know in Houston right now, houses are appreciating at about 7%. In 5 years, this house, if I were to sell it, if I were to save the cash flow and sell the house, I should make $147,000. My loan, my outstanding loan, will only be $73,000. So what should I do? Take that $147,000 and pay off 2 houses in my rental portfolio. So what's that mean? If I bought 30 houses and put them on a 15-year mortgage, based off this model I'm looking at right now,
1 minute.
I could sell 10 of those houses and pay off 20. Those 20 houses go from cash flow and from profit, from $150 a month in profit to $1,000 a month because they're paid off. In 5 years, if you bought 30 houses based on the assumptions I'm looking at in this model, on the house we've already bought,
30 seconds.
you could have $20,000 a month in cash flow coming in about 5 years.
20 seconds.
That's probably a pretty decent retirement for most Americans. If you want to learn more about that, go to rightpathrealestate.com. Sign up for our next free event this coming Thursday. If you want to go to the weekend retreat, send an email to support at Right Path Real Estate. We'll send you a discount code there. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll be back Monday to talk more about retirement and how to use real estate as a vehicle to get you to where you want to go. Everybody enjoy the weather this weekend. Let's pray for some more snow. Bring on the snow.
All right, Jay, have a good one.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Find Jason and Tom at rightpathrealestate.com.
Yeah, Michael, it should be named Deal Analyzer, although that one's spelled wrong, huh?
9 out of 10 individual investors
Yeah,
fight
if
a
it's
losing
not
battle
there, we'll
against
shoot it
the
out
big
to you guys.
institutions. So what can you do about it? Hi, I'm Mary Beth Motisi, owner of Online Trading Academy here in Houston. Listen to Power Trading Hour to learn how the markets really work and how to think and act like the professionals. Call us at